Hi, Oscar Sisk here again for the Bible for Atheists. This isn't really about so much about the Bible as it is the context of the Bible. Um, I often hear, well, why did Christianity take such a huge leap in the first century? Well, for one thing, it didn't really take that much. They were according to Pliny the Younger, there was who had never heard of them, and he was in a governmental position. He asked for advice on how to rule. Uh, for the 100 years after Jesus, uh, the Roman soldiers who relied on local resources often married and re, uh, got their food from the locals, like the Jews who were in the Judea area, and also from areas wherever Paul had extended the church. Um, so with there were several things going on. One is we have the internet. They had the Roman roads. So instead of taking months to get from Judea to Britain, it could take like weeks or, yeah, a very short time. And so the Roman roads, and then they had a common language, which was kind of new. For centuries and centuries, there was no common language. Then the Greeks introduced language, which was adopted as the written language of the elites, and then of course Latin, the Roman language, was over for the empire, the whole empire. So people had a common language for the first time when for ages, and they had an efficient road system, sailing system, transportation, sort of like our internet. So things could spread fast, quickly. Jews had been scattered for like 1,000 years for various reasons to all over the globe, from China to Britain. I mean, there were like synagogues all over. So as Paul spread the gospel, his gospel. By the way, Paul never met Jesus. In fact, he says that he got his revelations by personal revelation from God. He did. He was like, he didn't know. He met James and he met Peter, but he argued with him because his view came from himself. Anyway, Romans fraternized, in fact, even married sometimes the Jewish religion, and because back then every little village, the Roman soldiers came from all these little villages that had their own individual little god, or sometimes several gods, and for the first time they met one that was like a unifying God, like the God that everybody understood. It was like a real person, the Jesus myth, which they had already been encountered with sons of God. They knew that. They knew about resurrection from the dead because of their own, and virgin births, because of their own mythologies. So all of these things were easily acceptable by the Romans, who, by the way, scattered throughout the empire. And I don't remember when it was, like 300 years or so after Christ, after Jesus. Um, Constantine adopted Christianity. Well, he didn't really. I think, and I think there's some evidence for this. I'm sure there is, that he adopted it because a lot of his Roman soldiers were already Christians. They had already encountered, Paul's writings about the Gentiles being accepted into this like little religion. And so you got to think of the psychology of that. You come from a little village and no one else believes in your God, but everyone else knows about this Jesus God, the Yahweh God. And everyone speaks that language. And wherever you're stationed as a soldier, you run into these little groups of people that are worshiping this Yahweh God. Well, not only that, but the Romans was cracking down. You've read about feeding them to the lions and all that kind of stuff. And it was illegal. It wasn't illegal to be a Christian. It was illegal because the Jews at this time, from about 65 AD to 70 something 80 AD, were rebelling and often defeating the Romans. The Jewish rebels were devastating to the Roman Empire. So the rule was that when you have secret meetings, it's illegal, and you crucify them because that's insurrection. That's kind of how it was. So Christianity, I don't think they opposed Christianity so much. They opposed these little secret meetings. And of course, Christians, afraid of having meetings, which I don't know if they had to apply for a permit or not, but they'd have these secret meetings in the catacombs and so forth, and they'd be caught and sent to whatever punishment there was at the time. But because it was a despotic authoritarian government, they would just crucify them or feed them to the lions or whatever. Not because they were Christians, but because they were meeting in secret and or having big meetings, and Romans couldn't put up with that. So anyway, I think that Christianity spread quickly because the Roman soldiers, who were now had a reason to have a unified faith and were stationed all over the then known world, Western world. Constantine decided to unify his. The story of Constantine is he saw a cross in the sky, and he heard the words, "By this sign shall you conquer." I don't buy any of that. And so he had all his soldiers put on these crosses. Well, the soldiers weren't opposed to that. They put crosses on their shields, and they won the battle and all that. I think it was the opposite. I think that to unify, because back then, the Roman soldiers owed their allegiance not to Rome, but to the general who ruled them. And so Constantine, to unify his forces and to battle the other people who were trying to become leaders of Rome, he adopted this uniform pagan or uniform Christianity. And he still didn't put away. He still had he worshipped all the temples, and he put up all the icons of all the other religions. He was not a Christian. He just made Christianity because it was the most predominant Christian over the whole Roman Empire. as the official religion. And then Christianity bloomed. Anyway, more on this topic later. And this is the Bible for atheists. Christians are invited to make comments. If you think I'm way off the line, go ahead. Try me.